Hey everyone, good morning. This is Corone Bailey, your Stampin' Up! Creative Expressions consultant. And today I am going to do my first ever, thank you very much, Copic coloring tutorial video. I'm not going to call it a tutorial only because I don't think I'm skilled enough to call it a tutorial, but I'm just going to show you how I am going to color an item. I am in a challenge in a group, and the challenge that we have is make something that is reminiscent of New York. And so I found this stamp. Oh my gosh, isn't she adorable? And I got it at the CKC show in Houston earlier this last month, and I got it from Sparkle and Sprinkle. And this is the Isabella stamp set 535. And it says Happy Mother's Day and thank you. But really what I'm looking for is, this so much reminded me of New York, I think in the 20s girl, right? So when I got that challenge to do a New York, she popped into my mind. So here's the stamp set again. It's called Isabella, stamp set 535. And it's from you can find her at Sparkle and Sprinkle, which is www.sparkle, N as in the letter N, sprinkle.com. And you can find it there. So I've already went ahead and here's the stamp set for you. Here's the stamp. It's a it's a clear stamp. It's not a photopolymer. So because I'm coloring in Copics and I'm going to color with Copics, I use Memento ink, Tuxedo Black, and I've already pre-stamped the image for you. So now I'm going to use her. I see her as really pale, so the colors that I'm seeing in my mind, I'm planning on using today, E000, E00, and E21. That's the pale fruit pink, E000, the skin white, E00, and the E21 baby skin pink. So how I have been taught to do Copic coloring, first of all, before we even start the coloring, let's see which, of course, are your shades. So what I do to test is, so there's your first shade. That's my E000. Here's my E00. Oops, if I can get it open. And here is my E21. So the E21 to me seems to be the darkest. So that'll be like my highlighting or my shading color. So I'm going to start, as I've been taught, is to start with your lightest shade. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to flick and color in all of the skin areas of the stamp. Now, there may be someone watching this that says, hey, you're not flicking, but this is what I call a flick. If I'm not in someone else's mind, please, please, please don't hesitate to let me know. And don't be afraid to turn your paper instead of trying to adjust your body into all kinds of weird positions just to get the color. So again, just turn the paper, and I do the entire face. To include the eye, where would be the eyeshadow. I guess that's the eyelid. And normally I would move on to the neck, but I'm just going to do one area at a time. So the next thing I'm going to do is move on to my darkest color, which in this palette would be my E21. Now, looking at the shadowing the sun, here's my sun coming in from this direction. Now we know where the hat is covering is also going to be darker. So I'm adding some shading under the covering of the eye, or under the hat, sorry. The hat is also covering on this side, so there will be shading here. Not much because the sun is also coming in this way. And that's about all I'm going to shade right here. And then I move in with my next lightest color, which would be my E00. And starting and going over the E21, the shading that you have, just kind of flick that color, soften it a little bit, and pull your color inward. Definitely soften that a little bit. The other thing that I've also been taught is, you know, just to show the bridging on the nose, put a little highlight there. Oops, I should have highlighted that with a darker color, sorry. That should have been my E21, and I can work that out. Oops, sorry, here you go. Add a little more detail. And then under the lips. All right. And there you go. Back to my E200. Soften that line a little bit. Just soften it. That's all it's doing. And then the last thing I'm going to do is to go over the entire piece again, leaving a little bit of the highlighting and the shading under the hat, and blend it all together. There you have the coloring. Now, that's what I did as far as coloring, and then you'll do the same thing over the rest of the face, or rest of the skin area that you have. It's not perfect. The next thing I'm going to do would be to add a little bit with an R20, add a little bit of color on the cheek. Let her cheekbones pop just a little bit. And then taking the lightest color again, which is your E000, kind of soften that blend just a little bit. Just to give her some cheek definition. There you have it. There's my face. And then I'll move on to the neck. Again, doing the same thing. Starting with my lightest, E000. I'm going to shade under her neck with the darkest color, which is my E21. And then add a little more. As you can see, the hat's covering right here, so you know that's shaded a little bit. Oh, I forgot this other piece. I always forget this piece under her jewelry. Did you see that? Right here. Yep. And then add a little coloring and shading here as well. Just a little bit under there. Because you know the neck hovers over, so there will be some shadowing under that side. And that's what you have there. I would add a little bit of coloring in there, just because the space is what it is. Using my E00, again, try to blend and soften the shading. Not try to remove it all, but just blend it. And then the last is with your E000, and continue to blend and soften that in. There you have it. Thank you guys for watching. It's not perfect. I have a little bit more blending to do because I can see some shades and some jagged edges in the shading, and I don't really like that, so I'm going to go over it just a little bit more. And there you go. I just colored skin using Copic markers, E000, E00, and E21. Thank you very much. Leave me comments and notes. Again, I am not a perfect Copic colorist, but this is how I was taught to do it. It is a way, and I thank you for joining me at this point. Again, this is Caron Bailey, your Stampin' Up! Creative Expressions artist.